Have you ever wondered why Tim Curry refused to star in the Scooby-Doo movie? Is that true? Let us find out. So, make sure to watch till the end of this video to find out why Tim Curry refused to appear in the Scooby-Doo movie. Also, be sure to like the video and subscribe. We won't want you to miss out on any of our upcoming content. So let's get right onto it. First up, let's get to know how Scooby-Doo started. Are you fond of dogs? Well, definitely. You know Scooby-Doo. Scooby-Doo was created by Iwao Takamoto, a Japanese-American animator, television producer, and film director. He began his career as a production and character designer for Walt Disney Animation Studios films, including Cinderella in 1950, Lady and the Tramp 1955, and Sleeping Beauty 1959. Afterward, he moved to Hanna-Barbera Productions, where he designed the vast majority of the characters, such as Scooby-Doo and Astro. Eventually, he rose to the position of director and producer. Initially, Don Messick originated the character's speech of Scooby-Doo from 1969 until 1996. Scooby-Doo is the eponymous character and protagonist of the same-named animated television franchise, which was created in 1969 by the American animation company Hanna-Barbera. He is a male Great Dane and the lifelong partner of amateur investigator Shaggy Rogers, with whom he shares many personality features. Joe Ruby and Ken Spears created the series, which debuted in 1969 and rapidly became a huge success. The show's structure allowed for almost unlimited permutations. Fresh Scooby-Doo episodes were produced under various titles until the early 1980s. Scooby-Doo characters included the cowardly and greedy but good-natured dog Scooby-Doo, who traveled around the United States in a van named the Mystery Machine with 4 young friends from Mystery Inc. Slacker Shaggy, ascot-wearing group leader Fred, beautiful but danger-prone Daphne, and brainy tomboyish Velma. Scrappy-Doo, Scooby's boisterous nephew, later joined them. In the late 1980s and early 1990s, there were several spin-offs and reimaginings. Notably, A Pup Named Scooby-Doo from 1988 to 91 featured younger versions of the core characters. The classic formula was revived with the new series What's New Scooby-Doo in 2002. The first live-action feature starring a computer-animated Scooby-Doo was released in the same year. Up next, why is Scooby-Doo still a significant hit after 50 years? As for what makes Scooby-Doo still appealing after 50 years, its background artist Eric Simmons says, "The characters are funny, the writers use topical humor, and everyone likes a good whodunit." Scooby-Doo has become one of the most famous American cartoon characters of all time, nearly 50 years after his debut in September 1969. Since his late 90s resurgence, beginning with Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island, Scooby has outperformed fellow Hanna-Barbera heavyweights, the Flintstones and Yogi Bear in popularity, receiving a steady stream of new series and direct-to-video features until this day. Scooby-Doo appears to have the appropriate blend of components, in addition to arriving at the correct time. Scooby-Doo includes a combination of kid-friendly mysteries, minor horror supernatural aspects, teen and young adult stereotypes, and of course, comedy. This combination of characteristics most likely helped Scooby withstand the various changes to children's television over the years, even if not all of them were popular. Looking for a more slapstick comedy series? Scooby-Doo occasionally switches to that. A Pup Named Scooby-Doo, for instance. Do you want a theatrical take on the franchise's mystery horror elements? Mystery Inc. accomplished it in Mystery Inc., as well as Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. There's also been a change in recent children's cartoons, away from shows showcasing humorous animals and talking animals, Yogi Bear for instance, and towards shows featuring people. Luckily, Mystery Inc. has survived this phenomenon as well, while Scooby is still the show's central protagonist. Most Scooby cartoons since the 1980s have made Fred, Velma, and Daphne more featured characters. Scooby-Doo arose from a demand for less violent programming in the late 1960s. Its diverse elements and endearing characters enabled it to develop and evolve with the times, while being popular today. In terms of the future, I doubt Shaggy and Scooby will be leaving anytime soon. Keep watching along closely. We're going to tell you everything about Tim Curry and what he has to do with Scooby-Doo. We wouldn't want you to miss out on anything we have lined up for you. Now, let's get back into it. Now, do you know some of the celebrities that appeared in Scooby-Doo movies and TV series? It's somewhat of a Scooby-Doo tradition in subsequent years to have celebrity guests come along for the mystery or be involved in the puzzle. So, here is our list of stars we forgot appeared in Scooby-Doo movies and TV episodes. We all completely forgot these actors appeared in Scooby-Doo. For this list, we'll solve the enigma of the most renowned faces you might not recall joining these naughty kids in their escapades. Pamela Anderson, Jodie Foster, Dick Van Dyke, and more are on our list. Moreover, others were Don Adams, John Astin, Ted Cassidy, Tim Conway, Jackie Coogan, John Cena, Simon Cowell, and more. Since animation is so widespread, voice acting places less demand on a famous actor's schedule. It generates a lot of buzz for the cartoon, even if the celebrity does not appear in the video as themselves. Moving on, let's find out who is Tim Curry and what does he have to do with Scooby-Doo. Tim Curry is an English actor, musician, and songwriter, best known for playing Dr. Frankenfurter in the Rocky Horror Picture Show, as well as roles in Home Alone 2, Lost Boston, New York, and Stephen King's It. Voice roles include Nigel Thornberry in The Wild Thornberrys, co-starring Lacey Chabert, Tom Kane, and Jodie Carlisle, and Professor Finbar Calamitous in The Adventures of Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius, starring Debbie Derryberry and Rob Paulsen. Curry has performed in several animated television shows and films, beginning with his role as the Serpent in The Greatest Adventure, Stories from the Bible. Curry received a Daytime Emmy nomination for his role as Captain Hook in the Fox animated series Peter Pan and the Pirates. His longest-running cartoon role was as Nigel Thornberry in The Wild Thornberrys, which aired on Nickelodeon for 5 seasons. As a longtime fan of the animated TV show Scooby-Doo, it was natural for him to want to portray a character in the film. The role of the mysterious Emil Mondavarius should have been a dream come true for Curry. Still, he turned it down and was replaced by Rowan Atkinson. Keep watching along closely. We're about to tell you everything you need to know about Scrappy-Doo and why so many people didn't like him. What were your thoughts on him? Let us know down in the comments section. Now, the question is why Tim Curry refused to star in the Scooby-Doo movie despite being a huge fan. A rumor spread online that Tim Curry turned down the role of the main villain in the live-action movie Scrappy-Doo because he didn't want Scrappy-Doo to appear in the film. Curry's team and James Gunn, the film's creator, have all confirmed that the rumor is false. Curry didn't hate Scrappy-Doo, rather he simply didn't want to play the film's main villain. In spite of his bad manners, he is one of the most likable characters in the film. Rumors online spread that Tim Curry was offered the role of the film's main villain, Robot, Emil Mondavarius, but that he turned it down because Scrappy-Doo would appear in the film. He didn't like the part, it was said. However, Curry's team, as well as James Gunn, have denied this is true. Curry wouldn't have taken the part if it had been because of Scrappy-Doo, as Gunn claimed. Tim Curry decided not to participate in Scooby-Doo because for a reason that many die-hard fans of the original cartoon immediately recognized. Tim Curry's affection for the animated Scooby-Doo show was mainly the reason he refused to appear in the Scooby-Doo movie. In brief, he had always despised the character Scrappy-Doo, who played an essential role in the film's plot. Even though Scrappy-Doo was the villain and the punchline to many of the movie's jokes, it wasn't enough to convince him. Tim Curry felt that having Scrappy-Doo in a live-action Scooby-Doo movie was inappropriate in principle, which is why he left the project. Lastly, who is Scrappy-Doo and why is he so disliked? Scrappy-Doo is Scooby-Doo's feisty nephew. Scrappy's mother is Scooby's sister Ruby-Doo. Scrappy made his debut in 1979, joining his already renowned uncle for a new cartoon adventure that producers believed would boost Scooby Declining Doo's ratings on ABC. Tim Curry's views towards Scrappy-Doo were shared by many Scooby-Doo fans. They were founded on more than just the persona being annoying. Scrappy-Doo was launched in the cartoon series in 1979 to save the Scooby-Doo franchise from extinction. To some extent, this worked, at least at first, with younger audiences responding appropriately to the character. Scrappy-Doo is widely regarded as an unfavorable figure among Scooby-Doo fans. It stems from more than simply the character being irritating. As a result, his unpleasant voice, terrible catchphrase, and obnoxious personality grew more impossible to avoid. This was worsened by the show's format, which did not allow for character growth, resulting in Scrappy-Doo being stuck with undesirable attributes that were impossible to overlook, given his growing notoriety on the show. All of this makes Tim Curry's rejection to join in the creation of Scooby-Doo incredibly ironic. However, one could argue that his choice just represented the depth of passion and enduring affection that he, like so many others, felt for the Scooby-Doo TV show, even if this love did not extend to all its characters. There you have it, guys, everything you need to know about Tim Curry's refusal to appear in the Scooby-Doo movie. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to follow, like, and share it, as well as leave us a comment. Let us know what you think about this.